The topic analysis research project, aka the TARP, is a bit of practice in pulling back from the brink and doing things deliberately rather than randomly. What I mean by this can be illustrated by a scenario. Let's just say you're a student who has been tasked with researching a random topic for an English class. Sound familiar? For many students, maybe most, there would be a bit of vacillation back and forth between some overused topics done in high school English class that are essentially the low-hanging fruit of topics. Things like gun control, abortion, climate change, etc. are used so often that they have essentially lost any meaning, which is too bad because the underlying concerns surrounding them are most definitely relevant but almost never explored, at least in a way that is meaningful. Anyway, in this scenario, you start looking into topic A, let's call it gun control, as a topic in and of itself. You start and end by doing a quick Google search and hoping for the best. What you find are a lot of sources that are essentially the same ones you found in your high school. Boring. You have not learned anything. This is not research in an academic sense. In fact, what you most likely did was just rehash an old theory. Something to the effect of, guns don't kill people, people do. Again, boring. Again, not research, and most definitely not critical thinking or critical reading. The TARP asks you to engage in research from a systematic and more thoughtful manner, looking at the topic's value for research by asking 3 essential questions, which we'll get to in a minute. First, let's talk about the process. Research topics that are appropriate for university-level research must meet the following guidelines. They must fit the university's, at least in this case WSU's, mission statement. They should not be strictly personal in nature. In other words, don't research what car is best for you to blow your student loan money on. And they must address a concern that is relevant to students, the university, and the communities in which the university is housed. Pullman, Whitman County, Washington, and so on and so forth. When you conduct research, there are 2 phases that you need to honor before you can really get to the finish line. Never skip that preliminary research step. The preliminary research is the Google and the Wikipedia searches that allow you to get a general understanding of the landscape of the topic. That's really, really crucial. But then you need to jump into focused research, which is what you do once you have narrowed your topic a bit based on the direction that meets previously stated criteria for university-level research. Finally, it's time to answer the essential questions about research, specifically the topic itself, which are, is the topic researchable, is the topic worthwhile, and is the topic interesting? More on these just in a few minutes. So the basic premise of the TARP as a process are this. You need to practice restraint when it comes to your choice of topics. You need to focus on learning first before you use the information for a more important purpose. And you need to develop the meta-language. A meta-language is the ability to talk about or explain what you are doing and why. In this case, being able to answer the essential questions in a meaningful, thoughtful manner, to talk about the process that you engaged in, to talk about what worked, what didn't work, what you learned, what you didn't learn, so on and so forth. A crucial piece of the research puzzle for research conducted as WSU students, and faculty of course as well, is stated in the WSU mission statement. There are a lot of words, of course, but what is important is that research needs to benefit society, and you should be actively engaged in the sharing of what you've learned through that research in order to positively impact the state and the communities within the state. Okay, so let's talk about the essential questions now before we dive into the process. When I say the topic needs to be researchable, it means that there needs to be enough good quality information from reliable sources, both in terms of the author and the publication, that provides adequate direction for us to go with the topic. This does not mean that your topic simply supports a preconceived notion or thought about the topic. You really need to focus on learning new things and the potentiality of the topic. When we talk about a topic being worthwhile, it means that there need to be people who actually care about the topic and for legit reasons, and who ask genuine and thoughtful questions about the topic or issue or concern that are focused on real-world solutions. Finally, whether a topic is interesting or not is very personal concern, but consider your own thoughts about the topic for your further pursuit. This isn't something I, as your professor, can answer for you. Allow yourself to be honest and not feel like you have to be interested in the topic just because you started with it or because it is a common or popular topic for others. And keep in mind the initial answer to these questions, of course, is yes or no, but with answers to the why built into your explanation. Again, the goal is to develop a meta language. The ability to talk about the research is crucial, and to talk about what you did and did not learn. This is part of academic research. Okay, so let's look at the process. I want to reiterate that this process is crucial, and skipping steps will leave you potentially confused. It is important to note that if you are learning that you are no longer gelling with the topic early on, especially early on, there's no shame at all in making a change or shifting to either a new topic or creating a new lens on the current topic. The process is as follows. I will have to have you identify a topic, at least on the surface, that seems like it meets the WSU mission statement and other guidelines that we talk about. Second, conduct preliminary research. This is just general research, again, using Google or another search engine. We'll use Google Scholar. Possibly you could use Wikipedia. You should be looking for the kinds of subtopics that might serve as ways to narrow the topic. There will be a specific activity in class for you to work through these issues, as well as learn a bit more about Google Scholar. Next, you'll work on crafting a preliminary research question. In our case, as part of the first of 3 library trainings. After that, you'll need to find some initial sources on the topics to see what you're getting so far, and hopefully bank a good number of them. I'll have you compile a references page in APA format with initial 6 or 7 sources. Once you have a batch of articles, in this case 8 to 10, I will have you evaluate the sources using a version of the CRAP test. This will also be built into the second of the library trainings. The activity you will do as a part of the library training will only have you work with one, but it is essential that you scrutinize all sources found as part of this project. After evaluating what you have, you should find the final sources needed for a total of at least 10, and then refine the references page, again, using the APA guidelines for format and design. Once you have selected and evaluated your sources, it is time to compare what you've found. The first step here is to determine what you want to ask of your sources by developing 3 driving questions or burning questions. You will use the same questions to mine all of the sources for nuggets of information that help you understand what has been said about the issue. In the example, I've provided 2 such burning questions on the issue of how stress impacts college students. The first is, what is the relationship between stress and college student performance? Using that question, I would then look through all of the articles and try to answer how does each article address this question, if indeed it actually does. There are multiple strategies for doing this, some of which will be built into an activity you'll do in class. However, at the end, you should have a 4-column, 11-row table with the top row holding your questions, the left column having information for your articles, and columns 2 through 4 with answers to your questions corresponding with the articles on the left. At the end of the process, you should be able to answer a couple of the essential questions. Actually, you should be able to answer all of them by then, but based on the chart itself, you should be able to answer a couple. First of all, is there enough information from sources found to help you understand the topic? If so, This is a component of researchability. Second is what the articles actually say about the topic or issue, indicating that there are important questions being addressed through the research. If so, this is a component of worthwhileness. The chart also gives you a sense of the directions you could potentially further explore the topic. Keep in mind while doing this part of the process that your next use of the information will be to propose a solution to the issue you've been exploring. Can you do that with what you found? Again, this is something you could realistically answer if you do the chart as it is intended. After engaging in a bit of reflection on what you found, it is time to share your findings. For this portion, you will be provided a template that has placeholders for the information. We will watch a video on effective PowerPoint design by David J. Phillips, and then you will need to complete your own PowerPoint for your own research adventures. After completing the PowerPoint itself and turning it in for feedback, you will need to record your presentation and submit it to the appropriate submission space. The final component will be a reflection on the process that you've engaged in. All of these steps are available in the assignment sheet in Canvas.